whoa, whoa. Yeah.
The biggest and most prestigious tournament in the world is just about to begin. Who's going to win it? Will it be Brazil? Or will it be Spain, who have a massive point to prove after the last World Cup? Or will it be the current holders, Germany? Or can Pogba and Griezmann lift the trophy for France? Or will it be the Three Lions? Come on, boys!
Come on, England! Let's go! Let's go!
You've got to go Spain, Germany, and yeah.
I think France are looking strong. I don't think you can bet against Brazil.
For the last couple of World Cups, Belgium been looking good. They're looking really good this year, but I think we could take them.
Spain is a good team, Brazil is a good one. I hope Croatia.
France don't have the teamwork, right? Brazil, they've got 2 players in every single position. Brazil will take it this season. I'll tell you why. Because they have the quality in depth and they've got a team spirit. That's why.
England's the favourites, obviously, you know what I mean? They're the favourites, they're the favourite boys.
England?
England.
Back in 2014, I was quite disappointed. We got to the semi-finals, we got thrashed by Germany 7-1. This time, I think, going forward under Tite, I think we could, again, I think we should at least get to the semi-finals.
We are expecting to pass the group, at least. We have good players now, so.
Well, after the disgrace what happened to us against Germany, we have like our hopes up, and I think now we have a good chance to win the World Cup.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely, we are going to be the champions.
I think we have a good chance. I think we are one of the favorites to win the World Cup, definitely.
Us, Nigeria, will get past the group stage for sure. That's about it.
An African team winning the World Cup is like unprecedented, and if Nigeria's the first team to do that, that would be unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
we're getting a bit bored of the whole Spanish, German, Brazilian kind of influence. So yeah.
Come on, Niger!
Come on, Brazil! Brazil Hexa!
Football's coming home. Come on!
It is official. England are going to win the World Cup.
Yes, it is.
6-1 against Panama. A hat-trick for Class A Harry Kane. Still 5 minutes of the game to go. I'm joined in the studio by Chris and Adam. Adam has come straight from the bowling alley in his shirt today.
You said you wanted it. You said you wanted it, so let's not be dumb.
Boys, absolutely buzzing result. We obviously want to hear from you on 0203 606 0315. Jay is going to come in here and sort this camera out because it seems a little bit lopsided to me.
I think it's the TV.
No, it's not.
The TV, like,
there's too much. I've got too much gap here, and Chris has done his side. It needs to be straightened up ever so slightly. We're going to get that done. Here we go. Watch this. Watch this, everyone. Hey, there it is. There we go. Jay, I don't know what Jay's been doing in that room. Jay's actually angry that England are winning.
No, he's not. Leave him alone.
You know,
he's moping. He's moping for the last 45 minutes.
Jay's one of these guys, right? He likes to moan, but he gets unhappier when he's nothing to moan about.
He's fine.
Do you know what's ironic, right? We were having a discussion the other day about international football, and Javon was really out here saying that he hates international football because England never do well in it, and it always disappoints him, and that's why he hates it. Now England are looking impressive for once, and this guy's out here moping. I ain't seen this guy crack a smile in about 37 minutes. I don't know, man. Someone needs to get me off or something.
He's coming. Oh, hang on. He's going to kick off. Oh, he's kicking off. He did come in the room, though. He got big and he walked in and thought, bottled it. Get back behind your desk. I'm joking. England impressive today, though, gentlemen.
Extremely impressive.
Very impressive.
I would be so happy if Sterling got a goal. But that's just me.
He doesn't want to score.
That's it.
He doesn't want to score. Maybe saving his goal for a really critical game.
For a clutch goal.
The winner in the World Cup. The winner in the final.
Against Germany.
England are making the final now after this, right?
Football's coming home. We knew this already. From time Harry Kane scored those
They're making the semis. They're making the semis.
And then the final.
I'd be happy with a semi.
They're making the semis.
Where you filthy man. That's not what I meant.
It's God's day, please.
It's true.
Who's God?
It's God's day.
I'm an atheist, bruv. I don't care. I know I say God bless it in my shows, but that's because I'm being inclusive. Hang on. I'm allowed to be an atheist. Am I not? Look at this. Look at the judgment.
It's not that show. It's not that show. It's not that show.
I'm not an atheist. I just thought I'd say it to see the reaction of this man in his 10-pin bowling shirt. Look at those England fans buzzing over there. Well done to you all. Look at that, see. That's my country.
I bet he's got an England tattoo on his leg. I bet he does, mate.
Why?
What?
Why?
Just looks like the time.
Him and his wife were there together. Why would he have a tattoo on his leg?
I'm being inclusive.
Yeah.
Love it.
Inclusion has led to this 6-1 victory. I mean, Panama haven't been great today. There's no doubt about that. But England have been great. John Stones with 2 goals. I mean, Jesse Lingard's goal. Look, Adam's a massive fan of Jesse Lingard.
I am hugely. Like, I don't really get why he gets so much stick from Manchester United fans. I think one of his biggest assets, if not his biggest asset, is the fact that he has great off the ball movement. I think his intelligence, his runs off the ball, the way he interchanges play with other players, it's brilliant. He's a great guy. He deserves a goal. And his celebration was even better.
Bad boy celebration. Oh my god. Shoot.
Love it.
Shoot. Yo, Jesse Lingard is a good player. I think he's been a good player for a while now. I think when it comes to young players, well, we say he's young, he's 25, but when we talk about young players,
he's 25.
Yeah, he's 25. We always talk about them in respect to them being, wonder kids and whatnot. And Jesse Lingard isn't a wonder kid. Has never been a wonder kid. However, it doesn't mean that just because you don't have that profile at a young age, just because you're not a Dembele or an Mbappe or a Pulisic, it doesn't mean that you can't go on to be a good or very good player.
Yeah.
And Jesse Lingard seems to be developing in that way. So, very impressive goal, very impressive all-round performance, and he's had a really, really good tournament so far.
He has, and you're right in what you say there about the wonder kid thing. I think that modern day football, especially, we love a wonder kid. We love a youngster that comes onto the scene at 17 and excites us. When you get someone like a Jesse Lingard who's been out on loan a lot in his younger years, when he was still developing physically as a player, when he wasn't quite sort of tearing up trees, people wrote him off so early on. And Man United fans are the most guilty at doing that, and they still do now. And suddenly, the last sort of 6 months or so, a certain man has really helped develop him and bring him on to a high level.
Who's that?
I'm not gonna mention the guy's name because it doesn't feed into the narrative that he can't develop players. But the growth of Jesse Lingard has been phenomenal. To see him score that type of goal at a World Cup when over just 12 months ago, Man United fans, and I remember seeing them in their droves on my YouTube channel, people I spoke to at games, friends of mine that are United fans, he was one of the guys on the list. Just get rid of him. We need better. We need better. And he's now banging in goals for Man United. He's putting in great performances aside from that. And he's done it for England today. And I know there's lots of comments already in the sections here about, it's only Panama, blah, 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 blah. But the nonsense about those comments, it's only Panama, is this. England have failed at World Cups and at Euros in my lifetime on many, many occasions to beat the teams we should.
That is exactly it.
And when we then deliver against the teams we should, we move those... I'm not even going to swear because you're not worth the anger. You then move the damn goalposts again to say, well, you should be beating them. It's a nonsense. You can't chastise a team for not delivering against the smaller sides, and then when they deliver against the smaller sides and exceed expectations, belittle that achievement. Terry. No, you have to call these people out for being morons.
Today, listen, England won 6-1.
And I'm buzzing.
Be happy.
There we go. We've got a few videos from the pubs and pubs and bits and pieces from around London today. Enjoy some of these reactions from England fans, and we'll be back with you in a few moments. Look at that. England fans having an absolute bubble there. Thank you very much for sending the videos in.
I want to see what Box Park and Croydon was looking like.
Yeah, I bet that was absolutely
that
amazing. Yeah, I mean, the reaction.
Tunisia game.
Absolutely. And a different kind of buzz today, because when it, you know, not a last minute winners always grab more excitement, but to win the way we did, I don't remember this. I've never seen a score 6 in a World Cup game or a tournament game in my lifetime, so that's amazing. We have some calls we're going to jump into now. We're going to get your views and opinions. Adam's going to be answering them for us. So we're ready when you are. 0203 606 0315.
Bang. Hello, you're through to FanPark Live. What's your name? And who do you
My name is Joseph.
Hi, Joseph.
What's good, Joseph?
I'm buzzing, man. I enjoyed that game a lot.
Yeah? Who's your standout performer?
I don't even know if I can pick one, you know, because
they were all that good.
I thought Lingard was fantastic. I thought Sterling, even though he didn't get his goal, did everything but score.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't want to hear any of this. It's only Panama.
Yes.
All of that.
Yes.
Because you know what? Yeah, it's one thing. It's one thing being the better team, and it's another thing to show you're the better team. You know what I mean?
Mate, exactly. Look at Spain. Spain against Iran. You know, Germany against. Okay, Mexico are a much better side than Panama. But you've had lots of small teams and small nations at this World Cup grab draws or push the bigger team right to the last moment, right to the nth degree to score. I mean, and again, yesterday we had on the show people phone up and say, "Look how good Belgium are," and they are good. They showed us how to beat Tunisia. They were clinical. We're going to be in trouble. They didn't put 6 goals past Panama. In fact, it took them until the last 10 minutes to score a goal. So at the end of the day, they equal themselves out. England are a good side. Yes, there are some frailties here and there. Nobody is denying that. But you celebrate what you've just done and what you've achieved. And it was a great performance by England. In terms of England now moving forward, confidence-wise, how do you see them performing against Belgium?
Do you know what? This isn't even reactionary or anything. I think I back us to beat Belgium. And I mean, like, to win. Because I think now... That game just happened now. It's a perfect scenario for most of the players. Harry Kane's now scored a hat-trick. He's going to be on top of the world. He's literally delivering for us as we wanted him to. Lingard, he's got his goal now. It's a fantastic goal as well. His confidence is up. All the defence were doing well. I think Henderson as well. I think Henderson needs to be given more respect. I think he was great today. Honestly. I thought his passing, his creativity. A lot of people were saying before the World Cup that, we should have taken Wilshere. We've got no creativity. We've got no this and that. I think his role in the free kick that set up Stones in second, that was quality. I didn't think England had that kind of nous in their locker, and that just shocked me.
Yeah, I get. On Harry Kane though, there's a couple of people that I know are going to be saying that he's got a hat-trick, but it was 2 penalties, and the last goal he scored was extremely lucky. What do you have to say about that?
I don't really care. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't see why people care. The goals are goals, to be honest. And to be honest, in his mind, I'm sure he's just thinking, I've got 5 World Cup goals right now. It doesn't matter how I scored them. I've got them. No one can say that I'm not delivering for my country. So he can go into the Belgium match and think, if I get a chance, I'm probably going to score, because there's nothing saying in this World Cup that I'm not going to.
Absolutely.
So I think
Absolutely. And do you know what I think what really helped, and not helped, what really damaged England in past World Cups is our star players not getting goals early on in the tournaments. Harry Kane's got that.
Really different,
he's got that weight off his shoulders. He's relaxed, and I think that will help him moving forward. Just a quick apology. Belgium didn't take until the final 10 minutes of the game to score against Panama. They scored in the 47th, 69th and 75th. But the point still remains. It took them a whole half, and then they scored 1 goal. They couldn't put them to bed the same way England did, is what I meant. Apologies, I got the times wrong. But the principle still remains. They didn't dismantle Panama like we did. And that's not to say England are better than Belgium. It's simply stating that congratulate England for a great achievement. I'm sick of, I don't know if you feel like this way, fella, but I'm sick and tired of seeing people so negative. And the most negative people about England are English people. It's amazing.
I called up the other day, I think after the Brazil game, and I said that we have a habit of putting down our own players and thinking, oh, well, this country has this guy, why don't we have them? But we need to start respecting our players, because we have some of the best talents in the world. That, believe it or not, these are people that perform in the Premier League, and they're doing it on the world stage. So now they're doing it. There's no more excuses. We should congratulate them and let them know.
That's it.
Absolutely, mate. Really appreciate your call.
Thank you.
Cheers,
take care, guys.
We've got more calls, Jay. Let's keep these calls coming through. Let's keep these calls coming through. I want to hear from these fans today.
Hello, you're free to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Hello.
Hello, mate.
Hello.
How'd you feel about the England performance?
England performed brilliant. First half was absolutely brilliant. Lingard's what a goal. That third goal was
brilliant.
That was ridiculous. I remember sitting next to my missus and I was like, "Are you sure this is England I'm watching?" Because it was just.
What did she say?
It wasn't the England we used to.
No, you're
It's
right.
different.
You're right. What do you think is the difference between this England team and previous international England internationals that we've seen?
These players seem more together. When you see them in the camp, they look like they're having fun. They're just playing the game they love.
Yeah. I think it was interesting. We saw before we went on air, or as we were on air, Lingard was just doing kick-ups with a sock.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, maybe it's just I'm loving the romanticism of the World Cup, but I didn't see that stuff before. And I think this guy's right. They're enjoying their football, they're enjoying being part of a team, and they look like friends.
So many of these players have grown up together, some at club level, but a lot of them have played together at different stages of their international career under the new England DNA. Now, I'm not saying this generation are going to win the World Cup on a serious level. They've got a chance to. I know you think they are, but there is something in that. When friends are... They look to me like me and my mates when we used to go on football tours in the summer. You know, back in my younger days, we'd travel to like Holland, or we'd go to the Isle of Wight, or we were in France before. You go away to like a tournament with your mates, and it was just an amazing experience. These England players look relaxed. They're enjoying their football. They're enjoying being away with each other. It's like it looks like a lad's holiday, but without all the alcohol and partying. That's what, when I watch them, that's what I see. Young men, and they are all young compared to me. I watch them do that. Where do you stand though, mate? Like, I read a comment here. A lot of people saying that, you know, they were some YouTube channels are doing watch-alongs and they were reading Twitter and stuff throughout the game, and there's still lots of people criticising Henderson, people criticising Lingard, John Stones. Do you think sometimes we focus too much on one or two bad passes in a game and stuff on that magnitude? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, Henderson played well. He played well in both games, to be fair. John Stones played well. I think in this country, we just have a culture where sometimes if a player doesn't perform like great passes all the time, we criticize them, and I think it's ridiculous.
No, I agree. You're right. Mate, really appreciate your call.
All right. Before I go, I just want to ask one question. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I was just wondering, if you were the manager, and obviously we've got Belgium next, would you want to go all out and win the group, or would you be happy with second?
I want to go for the win. I feel like it would be a good thing in terms of developing the mentality and to start developing more of a ruthless streak.
Yeah, man.
And seeing ourselves as teams that are better than our peers. And I feel like, it will just be good to go for it and to instill a confidence. I feel like, as impressive as England has been against Tunisia and Panama, I feel like the litmus test is Belgium. Not just in terms of finishing ahead of the group, but just also going forward, because this is the quality of teams that we'll be facing in the round of 16, the quarterfinals, so on and so on. So to be the best, you've got to beat the best. England haven't earned that yet. We're not entitled to that yet. We've looked great, but we're not there yet. Belgium will be where we'll have a good indication of where we are.
Mate,
okay.
Yeah. Cheers. Thank you for your call.
Bye.
I agree with what you're saying there, Chris, completely. Like, I think we need to go for that win. I don't care who's second and first in the group below us, our potential opponents. I think if we beat Belgium, the confidence that could instill amongst these young men. And there's a great comment here that says Lingard is a mank and he's mates with Trent, who is a Scouser. That would never have happened with past England teams. Great chemistry within this squad. And that's from Michael. And I think he's right. I mean, we've heard Paul Scholes been very open and frank about how England camps were Man United one side, there'd be Liverpool the other, and then there was like Alan Shearer and his kind of clique. And that's not conducive for creating a great team atmosphere. And it does appear that Gareth Southgate he's the manager. So again, we always hold managers accountable when it goes wrong. So I'm going to hold him accountable when it's going right. That he has helped to create that. But where do you guys sit on the people that will still sit there and they'll criticise Henderson, or they'll criticise. I see lots of people on Twitter. Oh, Loftus-Cheek isn't good enough for England. What do you say? Do you feel like some people are overly critical of individuals based on who they play for at a club level? Do you think that's the main reason for it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a combination of that, and also a combination of just not seeing those players outside of, you know, seeing their own team. So if I'm a Liverpool fan and I'm being what you consider overly critical of, you know, rival players such as Loftus-Cheek or, you know, the Spurs players or the United players, so on and so on, it's also going to be because I don't support those clubs. I don't watch those other clubs as much, and I won't be as well versed in what they're capable of as much as I'd be in the Liverpool players, because they're my team. So I think it is a bit of bias, but it's also just a case of, you know, having the visuals and those being available. I don't think that's a big concern at this point. I think as long as England keep on performing well, you won't see that kind of critique to any great degree. And I think that's it, really.
Excellent. We have Devon on the Skype calls ready for us now, all the way from Atlanta. What's happening, brother?
What's going on? How y'all doing, guys? What's going on? Happy morning, man. Happy morning to you guys, especially. Beautiful game.
Mate, I can't say it. I'm just very, very, very proud of my nation. Excellent display from everyone on the pitch. And, yep, look, you know, you can pick out a few odd bad passes here and a few bad moments. But over the course of 90 minutes, we were 6-1 better. And that's the main focus here. What did you make of the game?
I thought it was a masterclass from England, and there's a Harry that you guys haven't mentioned yet. I know Harry Kane got a hat trick, but I thought Harry Maguire was amazing. I mean, you talk about a rock in defense, a guy you knew Panama was going to come in and get chippy. They didn't really have the quality on the pitch to match up with the Three Lions, so seeing England not get sucked into a foul fest was refreshing for me, and I think Maguire and Stones were the two best players on the pitch. And I know that's going to come across strange when you have a game where Harry Kane scores a hat trick and Lingard was all over the place, and you know you guys were clear and concise and precise in attack. It was beautiful to see.
What do you? A lot of people as well tweeting and talking about the fact that, you know, both Tunisia and Panama created openings and opportunities against England, and people come out with comments such as a better side is going to cause England more problems, is going to rip England apart. From when you think about England as a nation solely, do you think they should be fearful of Belgium, Germany, Brazil and France as an example?
Well, Terry, we talked about this. You play one team on one day. That's it. 32 teams made this tournament. You know, every team that's here has their merits. Every team that's here has the ability to put goals in the back of the net or stop goals from going in the back of the net. So that argument is bunk. The only other team that England has played is Tunisia, or today, you know, with Panama. So should they be fearful? Who isn't fearful of Belgium? But should Belgium be fearful of playing England? England just put up 6 today. Right. So I think that's just going to be a clash of two great teams with two very different styles, and with a lot of players that know each other from their club experience. So I think that Belgium England is not something to fear. It's something as the fan, as the neutral observer, that I can sit back and say, you know, bully for great football. But no, I don't think England should be fearful. I think that they should just continue to do what's worked for them to this point.
That's a great point that Dev's making there, in terms of a lot of the big sides have flopped on occasions during this tournament, or they've won games but they've not been convincing. So to have the notion that as soon as England come up against a big team, that's all she wrote, it's so presumptive and disrespectful and disingenuous to this England side. And look, I actually look, again, the majority of this is coming from England fans, and a lot of these England fans, their supporters that I know, have picked other nations to support at this World Cup instead of England for whatever reason they have. I always find that notion very weird, that you go against your own country. But I do get the sense that we beat Belgium and maybe win at the first knockout round, I do get the sense that a few of these people will be slowly slipping back on their England jerseys because they might want to get with the programme and not want to watch the parade go by.
Well, I think that, again, you have to look at a situation where you guys have had some heartbreak. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, my team's not in the tournament, and that's terrible. But in some instances, you'd almost rather sit back and be a neutral than have, you know, people miss penalty kicks.
Absolutely agree.
To go out. So,
mate, really appreciate you coming on the show as always. And I know we'll hear from you later on today.
Yeah, I'll be at the Atlanta United Portland Timbers match at Mercedes-Benz later on. So if I don't catch you after the second game, I'll see you tomorrow.
Top man. Speak to you later, brother.
Right,
see you later.
Cheers,
Enjoy the game. See you, mate. Fair dudes there. Any more calls, Jay? Let's get the calls through. Let's hear from these fans.
Hello, you're free to FanPark Live. What's your name? Hello. 5, 4, hello, 2, 1, bye.
Let's do it. Let's keep putting these calls through, Jay.
Hello, you're free to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Hi, my name's Ali.
Hello, Ali.
What's good, Ali?
How you doing? How you feeling about the game?
I'm great, thanks.
Good.
Oh, it was a brilliant game, fantastic. Absolutely buzzing after that performance.
Yeah. Who was your standout performer?
Well, it would be Harry Kane, but I'd have to say John Stones.
Okay.
2 goals from a defender. I'd say that's really good.
Yeah, extremely. What do you have to say about people that saying Harry Kane's goals weren't good? Because for me, it takes skill, practice, and confidence to be able to dispatch 2 penalties in the way that Harry Kane did. So to me, the goals were good.
His 2 penalties were very good, in my opinion. And his third one, yes, it was a lucky flick, but I loved the way it was perfectly onside. I've never seen like a really tight margin before.
Yeah. Chris, anything from yourself?
No, in terms of the stand-up performance, I think for me, I have Lingard in there. I think Loftus-Cheek had a very, very good game as well. Yeah, obviously Harry Kane, the hat-trick is great, but I guess just the nature of the hat-trick and just the overall match influence. So, great game, but ultimately, I think I give it to Lingard. I think he was just all over the gap. He scored goal of the game as well.
There we go. And just lastly, do you think England can win the World Cup? Hello?
Do I think they can? Yeah. Yes, of course they can. But do I think they will?
Don't make me happy.
Well, not really.
Oh,
but, I mean,
come on.
You're ruining the mood, bro. You're ruining the mood.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. You don't need that here.
Just keeping it real.
Oh.
He's keeping it negative. No, I'm joking. Yeah, he's entitled to that opinion. Do you think they should give Trent a run out against Belgium? Trent Alexander-Arnold. Oh, we've got a call. We'll come back to that question later.
Hello, you're free to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Hello.
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 Yeah, hello.
Hello.
I'm going to try one more time. Hello. What's your name?
Dave.
What do you have to say?
There we go. I feel the performance was bad.
You think it was bad? Why do you think it was bad?
Are you Panamarian?
No, I'm Brazil. I support Brazil.
Okay. Why do you think the performance was bad from England?
Is it Panamarian?
I just feel like they were playing against a lesser team, but they couldn't put decent passes together.
Who couldn't?
Right.
Pardon?
Who couldn't put decent passes?
England. That's what he means.
Yes. I just feel like technically the performance was not good. And, I just feel like certain players will get exposed.
Which players do you think will get exposed? Side. Which players?
Specifically Harry Maguire. Maybe Kyle Walker too.
Mate, I think technically...
In the midfield.
I think technically you're talking nonsense, to be honest.
I don't think that's the worst thing to say.
I think he's got a point.
I think
about the passing.
Don't get me wrong. The scoreline is good for the media.
What media?
Say that again. No, let him speak.
I feel like the 6 goals is good for the media.
Okay.
But realistically, the performance was not good.
Right.
I understand what he means. I think
I don't.
So
educate
if I'm interpreting correctly, I think he's looking at, obviously the scoreline is great. Yeah. The performance generally could be good because to win, regardless, you have to play well. Mm-hmm. However, there's pieces of the game where if it was against equal or superior opposition, it will be you notice flaws. Yeah. So he mentioned Harry Maguire, which for me I don't particularly agree with. Kyle Walker I understand a little bit more because Kyle Walker I feel like has the tendency to be very sloppy, even though. The pass in the build up for the 6th goal, when he threaded it in was an amazing pass, right? So I do understand what you mean, and it will be interesting to see England against teams that press well.
Yeah.
Teams that won't allow you time.
Performance-wise, there's no way you can agree. I can agree with you. I'm sorry,
but that's my point here. Look, you speak.
Yeah, sorry. Performance-wise, I can't agree. But I think you're right. These players could potentially get exposed by a better team.
So what we are saying is we are stating obvious facts.
Wait,
obvious
Terry.
things. Hang on, let me just speak for a second, please. So what we're saying is that this performance was poor or bad, in your words, because a better team might expose England. That means this performance wasn't good. That makes zero sense to me. Of course, better teams are going to make England work harder. Of course, better teams are going to cause problems. Show me a game in World Cup football at the highest level, where... Jay, stop that. Show me a game at the highest level of football where a top team hasn't caused problems for the team they are playing against. It always happens. Now, of course, every England fan that knows football has spoke about the fact that they're not overly confident with our midfield and with our defence before the tournament even begun. What, Jay? What are you doing, bruv? You are destroying this. At the end of the day, you're doing that. Of course, it's you.
Let's not lose our handbags.
At the end of the day, England have performed well today. There's absolutely no doubt about it. To score 6 goals at a World Cup, for Harry Kane to get a hat-trick, John Stones to score 2 goals is a wonderful thing. We're flippant here talking about winning the damn tournament because we don't truly believe it's going to happen. We know it can. But it's about celebrating England and celebrating the nation when they do a very good thing, and they did that today.
Oh.
Go on.
Instead of bass in his voice.
Terry.
Yeah, I'm listening.
I want you to be realistic here. Let's forget the scoreline. Was the performance good?
How can I forget the scoreline? The scoreline is the game.
Let's put the scoreline aside. Was the performance good? I want you to be honest. Was the performance good?
I can't lie to you. I don't believe you're Brazilian, bro.
Of course he's not.
Listen. Hang on a minute. So you want me to be honest? When am I not honest? Of course the performance was good. We dominated the ball. We passed well. We created. We caused them... Hang on. Whoa. Let me speak. Listen, you can ask me a question. Let me speak. We pushed them so far... We made them punch us and elbow us in the face in the first half.
The passes were not good, Terry.
You're chatting out your backside. You're chatting out your backside. What passes weren't good? Whose passes weren't good? Are you focusing on the 1 or 2 poor passes that happened?
The whole team. The passes was not good.
Absolute
They were trying to play out from the back, but it was terrible.
Bollocks. I am calling bollocks on that. There may have been some bad passes in the game, but to call the whole performance nonsense and bad, absolute dog's bollocks,
brother. Okay, this is all good. You're really not Brazilian, bro. Why are you lying? You're not Brazilian.
I am Brazilian. I support Brazil. I'm not Brazilian, but I support Brazil.
Okay. Thank you.
But just quickly though, do you think Brazil are going to win it? Because I've seen them look shaky as well. So
that was a mad
so what now?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
You don't think Brazil are going to win?
Brazil are going to win, yeah.
Well, at least you're fair. Thank you very much. It was nice speaking to you.
Take care, mate. Thank you. The reason I don't really mind him saying that. It's the fact that it's literally the fact that I'm seeing England fans say this shit as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, just be positive for one damn minute.
I'm so dead.
It's all right.
Man bought the Brazilian shirt, you turn Brazilian. Oh my God.
I'm not Brazilian, but I support Brazil.
Don't, man, you're turncoat. You don't even support your own country.
Oh my God.
Man don't even support his own country.
Nah, today's a funny day.
We don't know where he came from.
This guy watches football once every 4 years, is what Jack has said here. England can win the World Cup is what Mohammed says.
Yes,
lots of people saying Terry. I did get triggered, and I've got no issue with being triggered over that. Don't stand there and say that performance was bad. 6-1 at a World Cup, and some man has the audacity to say the performance was bad.
Separate the performance from the scoreline, though, Terry.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely do that. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. What an absolute mug. Ryan, you there, mate?
Is it okay to come on?
It is, as long as you don't say my country was poor. Otherwise, I'm cutting this line, mate. No, I'm only joking. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, but the guy that just was on, the Brazil, his blah, 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 blah. Hey, buddy, 7-1, suck it. Next.
It was 6-1, but it's cool.
No, we beat Brazil 7-1.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, that's a great performance. The 7-1 against Brazil. But what did you make of England's display today?
Well, as you can tell, I lost a bet yesterday. Had to wear a Germany jersey, or well, it ain't Germany, it's England. My bad. And I mean, I can say that we rubbed some of that 2014 luck on there. Got y'all 6-1 because I put the jersey on that all of a sudden England plays like Germany did in 2014. But yeah, I mean, overall, y'all played well. I was pleasantly surprised at what product y'all put on the field, but I was also disappointed by what CONCACAF decided to send to the World Cup this year. Panama, I'm like I said in the video that I submitted was, I mean, I don't understand how bad this is going to get when it gets to 48 teams. I don't know how that's going to work out. That there's going to be some close 10-0, maybe 15-0, depending on who decides to show up.
Yeah, I mean, the host nation is Qatar.
Are you there?
Yeah, we're there. Yeah, no, we agree with you. I think it's look, we understand. Okay. We've had this conversation for a lot of the World Cup about inclusion and spreading the game. But when you have teams, I mean, and Panama like qualified in front of a few what you'd normally consider slightly bigger footballing nations. But if you start scraping that barrel and adding another 16 teams in, you could end up with a lot more of these spanking results. But having said that, that gentleman who pretended that he was Brazilian, he won't be happy because he'll still talk about 1 or 2 bad passes in the game. This is modern day football, ladies and gentlemen. In terms of when you look forward,
I mean, I was looking at the comments before I came on, and I mean, it almost seems like, yes, it's an England fans, but they seem to not be able to get over Sterling playing for City or Henderson for Liverpool. I mean, I don't understand that. Yeah. In Germany, yeah, we've got Madrid players. We've got a disappearing act of an Arsenal player. You know what I'm saying? We've got a lot of Bayern Munich players and Borussia Dortmund, which I despise. But yesterday when Marco Reus scored, that's Germany, not
exactly,
Dortmund.
Mate. Do you know what? I mean,
so I don't understand that.
People come out and say things like football's really tribal in England. Football was far more tribal in the 70s and 80s, where masses of men were meeting up before and after games to kick lumps out of each other. It was far more tribal then than it is now. All that's now happened is you have a modern day group of football fans that can't get over their club loyalties. The Premier League has become so big, there's lots of money involved, but it's a disgrace. It really, I mean, I even saw in some of the videos today, people wearing their club shirts to an England game. You just should not do that. This is not, your club loyalties go out the window. I lose a lot of respect for people that can't get over.
Is it more tribal, or is it just channeled in a different way?
No, I think it's less tribal than it used to be. I think that, but it's become more pathetic and childlike.
No, because people will still do all kinds of stuff like online. Like that's all it's done. It's just like there's a lot of stuff that we used to do for certain reasons. The reasons why we do all of those things are still here. Like we're still as tribal as ever. I don't know if we're more or less, because I don't know how we'd measure it, because I think it'll be a variety of things that we'd use to measure that by. But I just think that it's just a different thing now.
But people still got behind their country back then, is what I'm saying. So this just as equally as tribal, but what you're saying is we channel it in different ways. People got behind their country then. Go back to Euro 96. It wasn't just England flags. It was Great Britain flags all over the stadium. It's gone now.
People got behind their country because it was just much more of a rigid mentality in terms of national identity. It's just like, you know, we live in the in the global world now. There's a lot of overlap and there's a lot of grey areas, there's a lot of blurred lines, and I think it's just that people identify football teams outside of their country, people identify football teams outside of their city.
I'm talking about born and bred English people. The only reason they'll hate on England this summer is because their favourite Arsenal player or their favourite player from Burnley or their favourite Man United player not been picked. There's lots of that.
I don't think that's a substantial amount of fans, personally speaking. I feel like if you were to get 100 fans, it wouldn't be 50% of fans that are like that. I wouldn't say it's even 40 or 50 or 30%. I think that's a minority of fans. I think it's a specific amount of fans, but they just may have the loudest voices.
Maybe. I've stood in Wembley and seen Gary Neville taking throw-ins. I've seen Gerrard playing, and those individual players get absolute abuse from England fans at England games that those people have paid for tickets for. That's why you get this sort of stuff going on. It's been going on for at least 10 to 20 years. People have become so protective over it, and the media are a big part to do with that, because what happens is it all really changed in 1998 when David Beckham was sent off and he became the first England player to really be the mob roar and the mob attack on him nationally. It made Man United fans defend him. And then what Man United fans did from that point for me is they then went after players of their rival clubs whenever they played poorly for England. And you made people defend their own more than they've ever done before.
But any big side with big players, any big country with big players has that same issue. I speak as someone who supports France, who's born in France, who sees it in French media. Our biggest players get all kinds of abuse and critique from fans as well as media. That happens in Spain. It's happened in Germany with Ozil and Gundogan recently. You know, it's happened with Xhaka and Shaqiri with the Swiss national team, and obviously that whole thing with Serbia and that whole thing. So Brazil it happens on. You know, it happens in Argentina with Messi. So I think that's just the nature of football fans and human nature when it comes to
I get that.
Elevating stars,
but if we were doing,
also seeing a reason to take them down.
I get that completely. But what I don't see from those other nations, and Ryan just pointed this out, because when they come, you know, they consider all those players to be German when it comes to Germany. I think our players, our fans in this country, what I see, and maybe it does happen elsewhere, we don't know about it. If it does, then it maybe proves the point more. We have club level fans that cannot let go of their club loyalties. I mean, I have listened to numerous talk shows, both on the radio and TV, in the build up to this World Cup, and even yesterday, there's people phoning up talking about why Jack Wilshere's not there. It's done. They can't get over it, and I guarantee you, if you sit there and you watch an Arsenal-based YouTube channel throughout an England game, if England are playing poorly, the name Jack Wilshere is coming up. That's why Jordan Henderson's getting attacked, because they feel he's taking his place in the team. They can't get over it. And maybe Germany are the same. Great. Maybe Spain are the same. Great. That doesn't bother me at all. The issue we have in this country is people let their club loyalties affect their love of their country, and I find it disgraceful. It is unpatriotic, and there's not a thing anyone can say to defend it. It's disgusting and wrong for me, straight up.
Disgusting and wrong.
It is. You support your country no matter what.
I want to take it to that extent, that you support your country no matter what. Again, like my
you don't support your football team.
No. What I'm saying is that
because of your club loyalties. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, what I'm saying is that I don't think it's as perpetuated. I don't think it's at the degree where it's become like this thing. Like I'm not around England fans like since this World Cup started, and even generally speaking, where you notice the different biases due to club loyalties. Like that isn't a thing that is an issue.
You do see it on YouTube.
It is. It is everywhere.
No. It's not everywhere. It really is everywhere.
I see it all the time. I go to England games on a regular basis and I see it. I stand there in the pubs listening to it. It's like, wow, look at this place. You hear it. Why is this guy in the team? Why is that not guy? And you sit there listening and they go, so who do you support? And they say, and then you know who they're going to say by the way they speak. It's honestly, it's a huge problem with the England team.
Like I said,
go to Wembley, watch the England game, you hear it.
Like I said earlier, when you're a fan of a particular club and players that will play for England are part of that club as well, naturally you're going to see them more. It's if let's say you're a Real Madrid fan and I'm a Barcelona fan, you argue with me who's better, Danny Carvajal or Jordi Alba. Naturally, I will see more of Alba. You'll see more Carvajal. So I know they obviously play on opposite ends of the field, but the point I'm making is that if we're arguing about who should be playing and who should be taking up that slot, I'm going to be coming from a different place, not because of club loyalties necessarily, but more so because I may just see that player more.
But that's a debate. The point is that when it comes down to the game, the reason Jordan Henderson is getting rubbish is because a lot of people felt a different player should be in that team. Arsenal fans helped to perpetuate that when the squad was announced. Go check Arsenal Twitter when that was done. And they don't. The point is, I get you. We can all have difference of opinions in terms of who should be in a squad, but there comes a point where you go, right, this is my national team. I'm supporting them. I'm going to get behind them, rather than having this rhetoric and this agenda to like, I'm going to focus on Henderson, and every little mistake he makes, I'm going to accentuate it and be very disingenuous towards it, and then throw in who should be there instead. I see that happening so much, and I have done for 20 years. As an Englishman, as an English fan that goes to games week in, week out, talks to fans on the internet for the last 4 or 5 years, I see it on such a high level, and for me, that's where the negativity comes from. It really does. And look, I go to Man United games, right? And Man United fans openly sing and talk about how much they hate their nation. That started, there's fractions of it, that really started from 1998 onwards, with the way the whole country treated David Beckham, and they protected their own. And then they attack other fans. And then Man United fans then kind of hypocrisize themselves, and they attack Gerrard in an England shirt, so they protect their own. And we've created this horrible scenario in England.
I hear what you're saying, but like, just to take it a step forward, I'm very, I don't know, I'm really thinking about the whole club v country thing, because I think ultimately it comes down to a sense of identity and who you're closer to.
I think so.
And I feel like it's to take it away from football. So like when I'm abroad, when I'm in another country and people ask me where I'm from, I don't tell people I'm from England. I don't tell people from the UK. I tell people I'm from London, because that is what's local to me. That's what I know. And any person that's from London that goes traveling outside of London will tell you, do you know what? This is where I'm from. Those two cities may be alike, but it's not alike. It's not similar to what it is to London. So I use that point as a parallel to say, when it comes to club v country, I understand the bias to a degree, and I don't critique fans that hold that bias to a certain extent, only because as a fan, there isn't a rule book for how you're supposed to identify with your club and the country that you support.
I do find it fascinating that you say you spent a lot of time in pubs and at games and stuff, and those are the people that you say you find there is a real rivalry and a hatred for their own team's fans. Whereas you, going back to the people you spend your time around, you say that you don't notice that at all. And
I'm not saying I don't notice that at all.
Less, to a lesser extent than you do.
It's the minorities for me.
And I think it might be because you're on the internet. People say some wild stuff on the internet a lot, and you're more in tune with what those people are saying. But I have to agree with Chris. Like I rarely, even this World Cup, speaking to people say they were willing to put their club rivalries to the side for the sake of England doing well, and it is only on the internet that I see people.
I feel like
it's real people on the internet. They're real people still.
It's not about them being real people. I just feel like, generally speaking, negativity tends to have the loudest voice.
No, I get that.
It is a quantity of people.
I think there's a lot of people, and it can even be the minority. But those people, I'll go back to my point though. Those people that do it, whether it's 1 out of 100 or 50 out of 100, I find it disgraceful. When it comes to anything, whether it's cricket, rugby, athletics, the Olympics, boxing, for me, you get behind your home nation, you get behind the country that you're from. Some people are very lucky. Some people have connections to 2 or 3 countries. Support all 3. I don't care about that. That doesn't bother me at all. My son's half English, he's half Irish. He's going to support both nations. I actually encourage that. I have a bit of a rule. I'm like, you support Ireland at rugby and England at football. It's a bit of a joke. But I'll buy him football kits and rugby kits for both, because he's got both blood inside of him. So it's not about that. And I understand one point you make. I totally agree with Chris. I think there is an issue in this country with national identity. You've only got to look at that wonderful estate in Bermondsey that have all their England flags up for the England game. Lots of negative comments from people about the types of people that put up England flags. That some people are, maybe I shouldn't have pride in my own country. We do get that eroded in this nation quite a lot. But from my point of view, I've been to a lot of England games, and when it's going well, there's less of it. But what I find from a lot of England fans, when it's going wrong, the first people they go for are the players of the rival clubs they have. And for me, when we eventually learn to drop that, and that's something that I just don't have anymore. I had it when I'm also talking from a place of someone who's changed, because I was like that. I was like that. For me, every England game I watched, I'd watch Liverpool players especially, and I would wait for those mistakes and I would hammer them on it, just because I knew that there were some Liverpool fans out there that were going to do the same thing to Wayne Rooney and the same thing to Michael Carrick and Paul Scholes, etc. And then it got to a point where I thought, I've got to grow out of this and I've got to move on from it, because for me it's not conducive for creating an atmosphere nationally that my team can thrive in. Because I didn't see it when England were at the Olympics. I didn't see it when England were playing in the Rugby World Cup. Only football. And that tribalism we talk about and that bias, we control and create that. Forget what the media writes. Forget what the players say and do. For me, I've been saying it all World Cup. When I see an England player on the pitch, it don't matter if Sterling misses 100 chances. All I'm going to say to Sterling is keep your chin up, mate. Keep working hard, because you keep going, you're going to perform. And if we have that attitude towards our national football team, we will become more successful. It might be an extra round we go further. It might be a few better performances. But for me, we're too negative about our own country. We're too easy and too quick to jump on their backs. And all that then does is it allows the example being, what was amazing this week was seeing, for me, nearly the entire public turn on the media over publishing the potential starting lineup. And I thought, wow. Rather than jump on it and say, oh, how stupid was the coach for having it on site, we attack the media instead. And that, for me, shows there's an emphasis of encouragement towards the team and love for the team over wanting to hate on them. And that's a really long speech I'm giving there, but from my point of view, really proud of the England performance today. I don't want it to be a negative thing. It's a positive thing that England have played so well. Any final thoughts from yourself, gentlemen?
I'm good.
Wonderful conversation. I enjoyed that a lot. Well, we've got one more call. Oh, there we go. We'll get him on the air. There we go.
Hello, you're free to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Oh, good afternoon, mate. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Loud and clear. Too loud, in fact. Hello?
Hi.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, I'm a bit, it's a bit laggy on your side, but I agree with you 100% because basically the club rivalries is fun, but interlands are supposed to unite us as a people. I'm calling from the Netherlands, but I support England as well. And I am an Arsenal fan, but I like seeing Kane doing well for the country. I mean, it makes sense to be united behind the country, whether you have an identity problem or crisis or not. It doesn't make any sense to hate on Kane because you're an Arsenal fan. It's nonsense.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, right. You've actually just summed it up probably better than all of us. That absolutely, whether you have a lack of identity or not, hating on a man because he plays for Spurs in a national shirt is crazy. Is he
Thank
there?
you.
Yeah.
Mate, really appreciate that call. Thank you for making that point. Cheers, mate.
Peace.
Top man. Well, we've got a few fan cams and videos to play out for you all. Gentlemen, quality as ever. Well done, England. Enjoyed that. Great debate and conversation as always. Everyone take care. God bless. Smash that like button and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye.
Peace.
It's coming on! It's coming on! It's coming on! It's coming! Football's coming on! It's 6-1 against Panama. How are you feeling? I'm feeling pretty good. Is that it? Come on, come on. It's just another day in the office. Yeah, exactly. It's a nice Sunday. Enjoy the sun, enjoy some beer, getting thrown over you. It's been a good day. It's been a great day. Yeah, Southgate always tactics right from the start. I don't know why he's playing 4-4-2 for so long. And Kane is top goal scorer in the World Cup now. Golden Boot system. He's that. He is that. Yeah, I'm going to call myself Harry. Sir Harry Kane. Arise, Sir Harry Kane. Sir Harry! Right, Sir Harry Kane. If you would have been telling the boys to get don't change the thing. Everyone's doing well. Carry on. Same again next week. See you later, Belgium. Yeah, exactly. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. £8 million. Fair enough. Got Belgium in the next game. Are we going to win? Probably 6-1, I reckon, again, yeah. I can't see why
really
not.
loves this team doing it well, that. Oosh. Not at all.
Who are you playing? Who are you taking out of the team?
It's coming up.
Oh, okay. I'd say the same. Why not? I mean, 6-1 win. Can't argue with it, can you?
I'll say the same. I'll phone home and see if Wilshire's busy. Get him on the plane. Best midfielder of our generation. That's the only way we can get them 8-0 next time. See you later.
And is it coming home?
It's coming home.
It's definitely coming home.
Wait, hang on, let's check. It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming. Football's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming. Football's coming home.